Welcome back, survivors. Before the story starts, tap subscribe and comment where you're tuning in from. I'm dropping another story tomorrow, and you'll want to catch it first. The boy I saved from infection 3 days ago just stood at the perimeter breach and said, "They're not here to kill us. They're here to take us home." The colonel put a gun to my head for saving him, but it's what I found in the classified folder that makes me realize the safe zones were never meant to protect us. Captain Elena Ruiz, that's who I used to be. Trauma surgeon, humanitarian, believer in the Hippocratic Oath. Now I'm the woman who decides who lives and who gets dragged to the incinerator behind the southern fence. The shipping container that serves as my examination room smells like iodine and fear. Outside, Delta 7 stretches in every direction. 2,000 refugees crammed into a maze of rust-colored metal boxes. The port of Los Angeles, they called it. Now it's just another cage, pretending to be salvation. Patient 247 arrived an hour ago. Catatonic, gray veins spreading like roots beneath translucent skin. Body temperature 94 degrees and dropping. Every protocol screams that he should already be ash. But his eyes are open. Not the clouded milky white of the infected. Not vacant. These eyes track my movements with surgical precision, following the stethoscope as I move it across his chest, watching my face as I check his pupils, studying me like I'm the subject and he's the scientist. My hand trembles. Just slightly. Just enough. "Can you hear me?" I whisper. The PA system outside erupts with static. Then Colonel Vance's voice. "All medical personnel report screening numbers by 1400 hours. Zero tolerance protocol remains in effect." Zero tolerance. That's military speak for murder. I've been running this station for 3 months. 91 days of checking temperatures, examining bite marks, making impossible choices. The official count says I've cleared 1,847 refugees and flagged 203 for quarantine. What the official count doesn't say is that 42 of those flagged cases never made it to quarantine. What it doesn't say is that I've been treating them in secret, pumping them full of experimental antivirals, watching impossible recoveries happen in the dead of night. What it doesn't say is that I'm not screening anymore. I'm selecting. Patient 247's lips move. No sound comes out, but I can read the shape his mouth makes. "Help!" My heart hammers. "What's your name?" His jaw works slowly, like he's remembering how speech functions. When the voice finally comes, it's sandpaper rough. Desmond Kowalski." "Desmond, I need you to tell me what happened. Were you bitten? Scratched? Did you have contact with infected blood?" His eyes drift to the narrow window cut into the container's side. Through it, I can see the perimeter fence, the guard towers, the smoke rising from the southern section. Always smoke, always burning. "I don't remember," he says. But there's something in his tone, something that sounds like a lie. I pull back, creating distance between us. My hand finds the panic button mounted beneath the examination table. One press and armed guards flood this container in seconds. "Desmond, I'm going to be very clear with you. I can help you. But you need to be honest. Complete honesty. Do you understand?" He turns those precise, calculating eyes back to me, and slowly, impossibly, he smiles. "You've been helping them, haven't you, Captain Ruiz? The ones like me? The ones who come back wrong but come back anyway." The air in the container turns to ice. How does he know my name? I'm not wearing identification. How does he know about the others? "Who told you that?" My voice cracks. "Nobody told me." His smile widens. I can smell it on you. The antivirals, the desperation, the hope. He inhales deeply, savoring something I can't detect. And the guilt. So much guilt. My thumb hovers over the panic button. What are you? The smile fades. His expression shifts to something that might be pity. I'm what comes after, Captain, and so are you. Outside, the emergency siren begins to wail. The siren cuts through Delta 7 like a blade through flesh. 3 short bursts. Pause. 3 more. Code black. Perimeter breach. I freeze, stethoscope still dangling from my neck. Patient 247. Desmond, watching me with those 2 knowing eyes. The container's metal walls amplify the chaos erupting outside. Gunfire. Screaming. The mechanical thunder of the guard towers opening up with mounted 50s. You should run, Desmond says calmly. Still lying on the examination table. Still not breathing. They're coming through the eastern fence. Approximately 200, maybe more. How do you... I start, but he cuts me off. Because I can hear them. Because they're calling to me. Because we're all connected now, Captain. Every single one of us. The container door crashes open. Sergeant Okafor, bleeding from a gash above his eye, wild-eyed and panting. Captain Ruiz, we need you at the bunker entrance. We've got wounded, lots of wounded. I don't move, can't move. Desmond's words echo in my skull, connected. Captain, Okafor's hand is on my arm, pulling. We need to move now. I let him drag me toward the door, but I look back. Desmond hasn't moved. He's still staring at the ceiling, listening to something I can't hear. 3 minutes, he says. That's how long until they breach the inner perimeter. You might want to lock this door. Okafor slams it shut behind us. The world outside the container is a nightmare in high definition. Infected, pour through a collapsed section of the eastern fence like water through a burst dam. But these aren't the shambling corpses from the first weeks. These move with purpose. They use tools, crowbars, pipes, even rudimentary weapons. They work together, some creating distractions while others flank around. They're hunting. Jesus Christ, Okafor breathes. They're coordinating. A guard tower explodes, not metaphorically. An actual explosion, fire and twisted metal raining down. The infected must have rigged explosives, planned this, evolved. The bunker, I manage. Get everyone to the bunker. We run. The camp is pure chaos now. Families scrambling between containers, children screaming for parents, guards firing in every direction. I see Mrs. Patel clutching her twin daughters, frozen in terror as an infected man sprints toward them. I don't think. Just grab a dropped rifle and fire. The round catches the infected in the shoulder, spinning him around. He doesn't fall, just turns to face me, tilting his head like a curious dog. Then he speaks. Dr. Ruiz, we're not here for you yet. Run. My blood turns to slush. He knows my name. He spoke in complete sentences. Okafor fires 3 rounds into the infected man's chest. He goes down but keeps moving, crawling, reaching, still trying to communicate. Move! Okafor shoves me forward. We reach the bunker entrance, a reinforced steel door set into a concrete foundation. A crowd bottlenecks at the entrance, people shoving, trampling, desperate. I see faces I recognize. Refugees I've screened, cleared, saved. And I see him, standing apart from the chaos, watching the infected breach the inner perimeter with that same strange expression. Tobias. The construction worker I treated 11 days ago? High fever, gray veins, all the symptoms. I gave him 4 days of antivirals, and he walked out clean, passed every test, human in every measurable way, except now he's not running. He's waiting. An infected woman breaks through the crowd, moving with that same terrible purpose. She stops directly in front of Tobias. They stare at each other. Some kind of recognition passes between them. Then, Tobias nods and walks away from the bunker, walks toward the breach. "Tobias!" I scream. "Tobias, no!" He doesn't look back. Okafor grabs my arm again. "Whoever that is, he's gone. We need to—" The gunfire stops. Just stops. The sudden silence is more terrifying than the chaos. Every guard tower, every defensive position goes quiet at once. And then I hear it, a voice over the camp's PA system. But it's not Colonel Vance. It's not human at all. Safe zone, Delta 7. This is your final warning. Release the transformed, or we burn it all. You have 10 minutes to decide. The voice is layered. Dozens of voices speaking as one. Men, women, children. All infected. All connected. All speaking with one mind. Okafor's grip on my arm goes slack. What the fuck are they? I don't have an answer. But deep in my gut, beneath the terror, a worse realization crystallizes. My 12 recovered patients. The ones I saved. The ones I've been so proud of. They're still in the camp, and the infected want them back. The bunker smells like sweat and ammunition. 200 people crammed into a space designed for 50, all breathing the same recycled air, all waiting for death to find them. I'm pressed against the concrete wall, Okafor beside me checking his rifle's magazine for the 3rd time. Around us, families huddle together. A baby cries. Someone prays in Spanish. Someone else vomits. 10 minutes, Okafor mutters. What the hell do they mean, release the transformed? I know. God help me, I know exactly what they mean. The bunker's emergency lighting flickers. On the wall-mounted monitor, security feeds show the camp above. The infected have stopped advancing. They stand in perfect formation around the perimeter, waiting, not attacking, not moving, just watching. There are hundreds of them now, maybe thousands. More keep arriving from the dead city beyond, answering some silent summons. Captain Ruiz. I turn. Colonel Vance emerges from the command section, his face carved from stone. Behind him, 2 MPs with rifles. Behind them, my blood freezes. They're bringing out my patients. The 12 I saved. The 12 impossible recoveries, shackled, lined up like prisoners. I see Jamila, the young mother who'd arrived unconscious and woke up confused but human. I see Devin, the schoolteacher who should have turned in hours but didn't. I see Yuki, just 16 years old, who'd begged me not to send her to quarantine. They all look terrified, human, alive. Colonel, what is this? Vance's expression doesn't change. These 12 individuals exhibit irregular recovery patterns from confirmed infection. 0 heartbeat variability, reduced metabolic function. And according to your hidden medical files, he pulls out my journal. My private, locked journal. They display cellular markers consistent with stage 3 transformation. The bunker goes silent. Every eye turns to me. You've been treating infected, Vance continues, hiding them among the healthy population, compromising this entire facility. They're not infected, my voice cracks. They recovered. Every test came back. Tests you administered. Tests you could have falsified. Vance steps closer. His breath smells like coffee and contempt. The voice on the PA demanded we release the transformed. These 12 are the only individuals in this camp who fit that designation. You can't, I whisper. They're human. They're human, Colonel. Then explain why the infected want them. I can't. I have no answer that doesn't sound insane. Yuki starts crying. Captain Ruiz, please. Please don't let them take me. I don't want to go out there. I don't want to be one of them. One of the MPs backhands her. She drops to her knees, blood streaming from her nose. I lunge forward. Okafor catches me, holds me back. Captain, don't. Vance checks his watch. 7 minutes remaining. I'm giving you a choice, Captain. We release these 12 and the infected retreat. 200 lives saved in exchange for 12 compromised individuals. Or we keep them and everyone in this bunker dies when those things break through. They won't break through. We're secure here. They brought explosives, Vance interrupts. They brought strategy. They brought coordination. How long do you think these walls will hold? The baby's crying intensifies. The praying gets louder. Someone's pounding on the bunker door, begging to be let out. Devin, the school teacher, looks at me. His eyes are red-rimmed but steady. Captain, it's okay. If it means everyone else lives... No, my voice is steel. No, I won't let them. It's not your decision, Vance says. He signals the MPs. They start dragging the 12 toward the bunker's emergency exit, the one that leads up to the surface, the one that opens directly into the camp above. Yuki screams. Jamila fights against her restraints. Devin just closes his eyes. Stop! I tear free from Okafor's grip. Colonel Vance, I'm begging you. Give me 10 minutes. Let me go up there. Let me talk to them. Let me... Talk to them? Vance laughs. It's an ugly sound. They're infected, Captain. They don't negotiate. They spoke. Over the PA. They made demands. That's negotiation. Vance considers this. For 1 heartbeat. 2. 5 minutes, he says, finally. You go up there. You try your diplomatic approach. But when it fails, and it will fail, we send out the 12. Understood? I nod. Don't trust my voice. Okafor hands me his sidearm. Safety's off. 15 rounds. Make them count. The MPs open the emergency exit. A ladder leads up into darkness, into the camp, into whatever's waiting above. I climb. The hatch opens into my medical container. Desmond is gone. The examination table is empty. The door hangs open, revealing the camp beyond. The infected stand in perfect rings around the bunker entrance. Silent, still, waiting. And in the center of them all, I see my 12 patients. Not the ones in the bunker. Different ones. Older ones. Ones I treated in the first weeks. Ones I certified as recovered. Ones I sent back into the camp population. Ones who never left at all. Tobias stands at the front. His eyes have changed. Still human. Still aware. But something else looks out from behind them now. Hello, Captain, he says. His voice has that same layered quality. Multiple voices in one throat. We need to talk about what you've been creating. I step out of the container on legs that don't feel like mine, the infected part around me like a curtain of flesh, creating a path to where Tobias stands. Behind him, I count 17 faces I recognize. 17 impossible recoveries. 17 patients I swore were saved. The night air tastes like ash and cordite. Every fiber of my being screams to run, but I force myself forward. 15 rounds in Okafor's pistol. 17 infected. 200 people in the bunker, depending on whatever happens next. Tobias, I keep my voice steady. What happened to you? He smiles. It's almost sad. You saved me, Captain. Just not the way you thought. The infected around us don't move, don't breathe. They're waiting for something, for permission, for a signal. The antivirals, Tobias continues, they didn't cure the infection. They changed it, slowed it down, gave our minds time to adapt instead of burning out in hours. He taps his temple. We're still us, still human, but we're also more. My hand drifts toward the pistol at my hip. Connected. Every person infected by the original strain loses themselves, burns out, becomes a mindless thing driven by hunger. But your treatment created something new, something that keeps the self intact while joining the network. He gestures to the infected around us. They're separate, alone in their madness. We're together. We're evolution. A woman steps forward. I recognize her, Naomi, a nurse's assistant. I treated her 19 days ago. He's telling the truth, Captain. I can feel all of them, their thoughts, their memories. It's like suddenly being able to hear music you've been deaf to your whole life. You're infected, I say. You're spreading the disease. No, Tobias shakes his head. We're not contagious. The antivirals prevent transmission. We're a closed system. The 12 in your bunker, the 17 out here, the 36 more scattered through the other safe zones, we're it. We're all there is, all there will ever be. My mind reels. 36 more in other safe zones? How many people have I helped create? Why do you want them? I ask. The 12 in the bunker. Why demand their release? Because they don't understand what's happening to them yet. They're terrified, alone, hearing voices they think are madness. We need to bring them in, teach them, help them adapt. Tobias takes a step closer. And because Colonel Vance knows what they are, he's been documenting them, studying them. You're not the only one who figured out the pattern, Captain. The PA system crackles. Vance's voice. 2 minutes, Captain Ruiz. Then we make the trade. There's something else, I say, watching Tobias carefully. Something you're not telling me. The infected, the regular ones, they're changing too. Coordinating, using tools, planning attacks. That's not random evolution. Tobias's expression shifts. For just a moment, something alien flickers behind his eyes. We're teaching them, he admits. The network connects us to the mindless ones too. We can guide them, give them purpose, direction. You're making them smarter, deadlier. We're making them survivable. The military's plan is extermination. Burn the world clean and start over. But the infection can't be burned out. It's everywhere now, in the water, in the soil. 1 in 3 survivors is an asymptomatic carrier. The only way forward is adaptation. He extends his hand. We're offering you a choice, Captain. Join us. Take the treatment. Become what we are. Help us build something new from the ruins. Or stay human, stay separate, and watch your species die in isolation. The bunker hatch squeals open behind me. MPs emerge, dragging the 12. Yuki's still crying. Jamila's screaming. Devin walks quietly, resigned. The infected around us tense. A collective inhalation. Thousands of dead lungs pulling air simultaneously. Release them, Tobias says. The layered voice returns. Not just him speaking now. All of them. Release them, or we end this now. Vance appears at the bunker entrance, rifle raised. Captain Ruiz, step away from the infected. I'm caught between two monsters. Behind me, the military that's been burning survivors without trial. In front of me, the infected who want to recruit me into their hivemind collective. The 12 are lined up at the bunker entrance. 3 MPs hold them at gunpoint. Colonel, I call back. They're not a threat. They just want... I know what they want. Vance cuts me off. They want to spread. That's what infection does. It spreads. Tobias tilts his head. Actually, Colonel, we know what you want. We can hear your patients, the ones you've been torturing in the sublevel beneath the command center, the ones you've been experimenting on. The words hit like a physical blow. Sublevel? What sublevel? Vance's expression doesn't change, but his grip on the rifle tightens. The safe zones were never about protecting survivors, Tobias continues. They were about collecting the infected for weapons research, creating controlled variants, building biological tools. We've seen your files, Colonel, felt the memories of the people you've cut open. His voice drops to something that might be rage. You're the monster here, not us. 1 minute, Vance says. The MPs raise their rifles. 3 dozen guns trained on 12 unarmed people. Yuki looks at me. Just 16. Just a kid who got sick and survived and trusted me to keep her safe. What would you do? I whisper. To myself. To God. To anyone listening. Tobias hears. We'd choose the future over the past. We'd choose connection over isolation. We'd choose to evolve. 30 seconds, Vance announces. I pulled a pistol from my hip. 15 rounds. Not enough to save everyone. Not even close. But maybe enough to make a statement. I point the gun at Colonel Vance. Vance doesn't flinch when I aim at his face. Just sighs. Like I'm a disappointing student who failed an obvious test. Stand down, Captain. Show me the sublevel, I say. My hands steady. Military training. Muscle memory. Show me what Tobias is talking about, or I drop you right here. The MPs swing their rifles toward me. Okafor steps between us, weapon raised, but not aimed. Caught in the middle. Good man in an impossible situation. Captain, he says quietly, think about what you're doing. I'm thinking. For the first time in months, I'm actually thinking. I don't take my eyes off Vance. You've been running experiments. Where? The infected watch in perfect silence, waiting, learning. Whatever happens next will teach them something about human nature, about which side I choose. Vance lowers his rifle slowly. You want the truth? Fine, follow me. But the infected stay out here, and your 12 go back in the bunker. No deal. The 12 come with us. And Tobias gets 3 representatives. Absolutely not. Then we're at an impasse. My finger tightens on the trigger, just slightly, just enough for him to see. And in 60 seconds, those thousands of infected behind me decide they're done negotiating. How long do you think this bunker holds? Vance's jaw works, calculating. The eternal military equation. Acceptable losses versus mission objectives. Fine, he spits. 3 of them, unarmed. But they try anything. We put them down. Tobias steps forward. Naomi and a man I don't recognize follow. The rest of the infected remain frozen in place, a wall of silent witnesses. We descend. The bunker's main level gives way to a maintenance shaft I never knew existed. Steel ladder, 100 feet down, emergency lighting every 10 meters. The air gets colder as we drop, chemical-scented, wrong. The sublevel spreads out like a concrete nightmare. Corridors lined with reinforced doors. Each door has a small window. Each window shows a face. living faces, infected faces, faces that track our movement with desperate, terrified awareness. "Oh, God," I whisper. Vance leads us deeper. The infection has a 73% mortality rate in initial exposure. Of the 200 who survive, 91% lose all cognitive function within 4 hours. They become a what you see topside, violent, mindless, driven by base instincts. He stops at a door. Inside, a woman is strapped to a surgical table. She's been cut open. Her organs glisten under fluorescent light. She's still alive, still conscious, still screaming. But 9% retain some awareness, some humanity. They're functionally dead. No heartbeat, no respiration, no metabolic function, but the brain remains active. These subjects are valuable. Tobias makes a sound like grinding stone. Naomi's hand finds his arm, steadying him. Valuable for what? I force the words out. Warfare, intelligence, infiltration. Vance moves to the next door. Inside, a child, maybe 8 years old, slams against the glass. His eyes plead. His mouth forms words. Help me, help me, help me. An enemy that can't be detected, that passes every biological scan, that can walk into any sanctuary and dismantle it from within. You're weaponizing them. The horror in my voice echoes down the corridor. I'm saving humanity. The Joint Chiefs identified the infection as an extinction-level event. We needed countermeasures, solutions. These test subjects provided data that's kept the remaining population centers functioning. Test subjects, Tobias's voice shakes. They're people. They're human beings. They're infected. Vance says it like stating the weather. The moment the pathogen enters their system, they forfeit human rights. Standard wartime protocol. The 12 refugees cluster together, seeing their potential future in these cells. Yuki's crying again. Jamila looks like she might vomit. How many? I ask. How many are down here? This facility holds 93, nationwide. Across all safe zones, approximately 2,000. 2,000 people, caged, tortured, vivisected, all in the name of research. And you knew, I turned to Vance, you knew the antivirals were creating functional variants. You knew my 12 weren't cured. You let me keep treating them. Why? For the first time, Vance smiles. Because you were doing our job for us, Captain. Every patient you saved was another data point, another potential asset. We would have let you continue indefinitely. But then he gestures to Tobias, started networking, started connecting. That's an unexpected variable. An unacceptable variable, a new voice says. A woman emerges from a side corridor. White lab coat. 60-something. Gray hair pulled back severely. She looks at me like I'm a specimen. Dr. Yuzuki Sato, she introduces herself. Project director, and you must be our rogue physician. She looks at Tobias. And you must be patient Delta 717. Your transformation was particularly successful. Clean integration, full cognitive retention, no deterioration after 19 days. I have a name, Tobias says. You have a designation. Dersato pulls out a tablet. Your case study has been invaluable. The network capability specifically. Can you explain the mechanism? How do you maintain distinct consciousness while accessing collective memory? Tobias doesn't answer, just stares at her with those layered, ancient eyes. Dersato continues, undeterred. The original plan was to dissect you next week. But since you're here, she signals, Armed lab technicians emerge from adjacent rooms. Not MPs, not military, scientists with tranquilizer guns. We might as well begin early. The corridor erupts in chaos. The tranquilizer dart hits Tobias in the neck. He drops like a puppet with cut strings. Naomi screams and lunges for Dr. Sato, but a second dart takes her down. The third infected, the man I don't recognize, dodges and sprints back toward the ladder. He doesn't make it. A lab tech tackles him. They go down in a tangle of limbs. No! I swing my pistol toward Dr. Sato, but Vance is faster. His rifle butt catches me in the temple. The world tilts. My weapon clatters away. Through blurred vision, I see the 12 refugees being restrained. See Yuki dragged toward one of the cell doors. See Devin fighting back, managing to break one MP's nose before being clubbed to the ground. Secure them all, Dr. Sato orders. Full spectrum workup. I want samples from each variant. And someone get me Captain Ruiz's research notes. All of them. Okafor's face appears above me. He's pale, shaking. Captain, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know this was down here. Help them, I slur. Blood in my mouth. Okafor, please. He looks away. The good soldier, following orders. They drag us into cells. I'm shoved into a concrete box 6 feet square. Steel door slams. The only light comes from a crack beneath the door. The only sound is my own breathing and faintly, the sobbing of refugees in adjacent cells. Time loses meaning. Could be minutes. Could be hours. I drift in and out of consciousness, the head wound making everything swim. Then the lights go out. Complete darkness. Emergency backups don't kick in, and I hear it. A voice, not from outside the cell, from inside my head. Captain Ruiz, can you hear me? Tobias. But not Tobias. The layered thing. The network. They tranquilized us, I think back. Then realize how insane that is. But the thought continues. How are you? The network doesn't need consciousness, doesn't need us awake. It just is. Like breathing. Like a heartbeat you never had to think about until someone pointed it out. What's happening? Above ground. The infected have felt what happened down here. Felt us being captured. Felt the others in their cells. They're responding. The building shudders. Distant explosions. Very distant screaming. Tobias, call them off. Whatever they're doing, I can't. I don't control them. I just guide, suggest. And right now, every infected in a 50-mile radius is suggesting the same thing. Break through. Get to the sublevel. Free the captives. Another explosion. Closer now. The concrete walls crack. Dust rains from the ceiling. The people in the bunker were evacuated topside 30 seconds ago. Vance's orders. He's using them as a defensive line. Human shields against the infected horde. Horror washes through me. 200 refugees, forced into the open while thousands of infected swarm the facility. I need you to understand something, Captain. Tobias's mental voice grows quiet. You created us, the networked variants. We're your legacy. And we're about to burn this entire safe zone to the ground to save our own. That makes us no different than Vance. No different than the humans we're trying to replace. We're all monsters here. The only question is which monster you choose to be. The cell door explodes inward. Not opened. Not unlocked. Exploded. An infected man stands in the opening. His hands blackened from handling explosives. Behind him, dozens more tear through the sublevel. ripping open doors, dragging out the test subjects. The infected sees me, tilts his head. "Free," he says in that hollow, dead voice, then moves on to the next cell. I stumble into the corridor. Chaos everywhere. Lab technicians running, MPs firing, infected swarming through like a tidal wave of rotting flesh. The networked ones, Tobias and the others, move through the violence with purpose, gathering the refugees, shepherding them toward the exit. I find Yuki in the third cell. She's unconscious. A sedative drip still attached to her arm. I rip it out and haul her over my shoulders. She's light. Too light. They've already started the experiments. "Captain!" Okafor appears through the smoke, face covered in blood. "This way." "The emergency exit!" We run. Behind us, the infected tear through the sublevel like locusts through wheat. They're not attacking the refugees, not attacking the networked ones. They're hunting the scientists, hunting Vance, hunting anyone in a military uniform. Devin appears beside me, half his face bruised purple. "I've got her," he says, taking Yuki from my shoulders. His movements are smooth despite the injuries, faster than they should be. Stronger. The transformation is accelerating. We hit the emergency shaft. Steel ladder stretching up into darkness. The sounds of carnage echo below. Screams, gunfire, the wet sounds of flesh tearing. Okafor goes first, then Devin with Yuki. I follow, my hands slipping on blood-slicked rungs. Halfway up, an explosion rocks the shaft. I lose my grip, sliding 10 feet before catching myself. My palms are shredded. Below, fire blooms through the sublevel corridors. The infected don't stop. They walk through the flames like they're nothing more than warm rain. We emerge into hell. The main bunker level is a war zone. The 200 refugees Vance forced topside are being driven back by infected pressing from all sides. Men, women, children, all shooting, all dying, all screaming. But the infected aren't killing them, they're corralling them, pushing them toward the southern perimeter, toward the incinerator. "Oh God," Okafor breathes. "They're going to burn them. They're going to burn everyone." "No." Tobias appears beside us, blood streaming from where the tranquilizer dart pierced his neck. But he's moving fine. Better than fine. We're giving them a choice. A massive infected, must have been a linebacker in life, grabs a refugee by the collar and drags him to the incinerator's edge, not throwing him in, just holding him there, making him look at the flames, making him understand. Then the infected releases him and steps back. The refugee collapses, sobbing. "Join or burn," Tobias says quietly. "That's the choice. Take the infection willingly and join the network, or refuse and face what Vance has been doing to our kind for months." "That's not a choice," I spit. "That's terrorism. That's survival." Tobias turns those alien eyes on me. "Vance gave the same choice to every infected person in those cells. Become a test subject or die. At least we're offering an alternative." An MP opens fire on the infected around the incinerator. The bullets hit, bodies jerk, but they don't stop. 3 infected rush the MP, tackle him, pin him down. One of them produces a syringe filled with dark fluid, infected blood. They inject him. The MP screams, convulses. In 90 seconds, his eyes cloud over. In 3 minutes, he's one of them. "Stop this," I beg Tobias. "You said you were different. You said you were evolution. This is just murder with extra steps." "This is war." Tobias's voice is cold. "And we're winning." Dr. Sato's voice crackles over the PA system. She's somewhere in the facility, still alive, still in control. Attention all personnel. Initiating Protocol Omega. Facility self-destruct in T-minus 10 minutes. Evacuation is not authorized. Repeat, evacuation is not authorized. All assets must be contained. The refugees hear it. The infected hear it. Everyone hears it. The facility is rigged to explode. Vance and Sato would rather kill everyone, human and infected alike, than let the networked variants escape. Tobias's expression shifts. For the first time, I see fear there. We need to move. Now, get everyone out. The perimeter's surrounded, Okafor says. Thousands of infected on all sides. We're trapped. Not trapped. Tobias closes his eyes. When he opens them, they're solid black. All iris, all pupil. Connected. The infected outside stop. All of them. Thousands of bodies going perfectly still, perfectly silent. Then, as one, they part, creating a corridor through their ranks. A path out of Delta 7. Everyone who wants to live, Tobias shouts, follow me. Everyone who wants to stay human. He gestures to the bunker. Vance is down there somewhere. I'm sure he has a shelter that'll survive the blast. The refugees hesitate. 200 faces, all making the same impossible calculation. Die in the explosion. Die fighting the infected. Or take the infection and live. Yuki wakes up in Devon's arms, looks around at the chaos, at the infected parting like the Red Sea, at the timer on the PA counting down. 8 minutes, she whispers. Then she reaches for Tobias. Do it. Make me like you. I don't want to die. Yuki, no, I start. I'm 16, Captain. I don't get to make my own choices. Her voice cracks. You saved me once. Let me save myself this time. Tobias produces a syringe. The same dark fluid. He looks at me, waiting for permission, waiting for condemnation. I nod. He injects her. She gasps, convulses. Devon holds her through it. When her eyes open, they're black. The PA system crackles. 6 minutes until detonation. But it's not Dr. Sato's voice anymore. It's Vance. All personnel, the facility is lost. The infection has spread to 83% of the refugee population. Containment is impossible. Protocol Omega will sterilize the site and prevent further spread. For the preservation of humanity, this is a necessary sacrifice. His voice is steady, calm, like he's discussing weather patterns instead of mass murder. You bastard, Okafor breathes. We're running now. Tobias leads, the refugees streaming behind him through the corridor of infected. Yuki walks on her own, her movements already smoother, more fluid. The transformation taking hold. I see others accepting the injection. A mother with 2 daughters. An elderly man who can barely walk. A young couple holding hands as the darkness spreads through their eyes. They're choosing survival, choosing the network over death, but not everyone. Some refugees break away, running back toward the bunker, back toward Vance and whatever shelter he's hiding in, choosing to stay human even if it means dying human. I count them as they split off. 47. 47 people who'd rather burn than evolve. Captain! Okafor grabs my arm. We need to move. But I'm frozen, watching those 47 disappear into the smoke, wondering if they're braver than me or just more stubborn. The perimeter fence is close now. Beyond it, the dead city of Los Angeles stretches into the night. No lights, no life. Just ruins and infected and the memory of civilization. 3 minutes. We hit the fence line. The infected have torn massive holes through it. Everyone pours through, stumbling over concrete and wire, desperate to get clear before the explosion hits early. Someone must have triggered it manually, Vance or Sato. One last act of spite. The bunker goes up like a volcano. Fire and concrete and metal launched skyward. The shockwave flattens everyone within 50 yards. I'm thrown forward, slamming into an overturned car. My ears ring. My vision doubles. Through the haze, I see the bunker entrance collapse. The 47 who ran back. They're buried. Gone. Dead before they hit the ground. The sublevel, all those test subjects in their cells, incinerated. The refugees who made it out lie scattered across the wasteland. Some moving, some not. The infected who created the corridor are blown apart, bodies scattered like debris. But the networked ones survive. Tobias pulls himself up from the rubble. Naomi staggers to her feet. Devin shields Yuki with his body, taking the worst of the blast. They're harder to kill. The network makes them resilient. I try to stand. Can't. Something's wrong with my leg. Compound fracture. Fracture. My medical training identifies automatically. Bone through skin. Severe arterial damage. Blood loss will kill me in 20 minutes without treatment. Okafor appears. His face is burned on one side. Captain, don't move. I'll get a med kit. Sergeant. I grab his hand. Listen to me. Listen carefully. He leans close. Around us, the survivors are regrouping. The networked ones helping the newly infected. The explosion killed maybe 30 refugees. 123 survived. The other safe zones, I force the words out through pain. They need to know what Vance was doing, what the government's real plan is. How? Communications are down. Everything's down. The emergency broadcast system. There's a station 3 miles east. Military grade. Hardened against EMP. If we can reach it. We aren't reaching anywhere, Captain. You're bleeding out. I know. I can feel it. The cold spreading up from my ruined leg. The gray creeping into my peripheral vision. Tobias crouches beside us. His black eyes reflect the flames still burning behind us. I can save her. The infection stops bleeding. Repairs damage. She'd survive. No, I say immediately. Why? Tobias sounds genuinely curious. You've seen what we are, seen what we can do. We're not mindless, not violent unless provoked. We're just different. Different how? Connected how? What's on the other end of that network, Tobias? What's really pulling the strings? He doesn't answer. Can't answer. Or won't. That's why, I say, because you don't even know. You're connected to something you don't understand, following impulses that aren't entirely yours. That's not evolution. That's parasitism. Then you'll die. He checks my pulse. 16 minutes, give or take. Then you better run to that broadcast station. I look at Okafor. Get the truth out. Tell the other safe zones what's really happening. Let people make informed choices instead of this. I gesture at the carnage. Nightmare. Okafor shakes his head. I'm not leaving you. Yes, you are. That's an order, Sergeant. You're not my commanding officer anymore. The command structure is dead. Vance is dead. The facility is gone. I'm staying. Stubborn fool. Good man, but a stubborn fool. Fine, I say. Then we go together. Both of us. Get to that station. Make the broadcast. I look at Tobias, and you help us get there. You and your network. Prove you're not just monsters wearing human faces. Tobias considers this. Around us, the newly infected are discovering their connection. Gasping as new sensations flood their minds. Some embrace it. Others scream, clawing at their heads, trying to disconnect from something they can't escape. Deal, Tobias says finally. But Captain, when we make that broadcast, you tell the truth. All of it. Not just what Vance did, what you did, the antivirals, the treatments, the fact that you created us. My throat tightens. They'll hate me. They should. You played God without understanding the consequences. Own it. He's right. I know he's right. Devin and 3 other networked variants rig a stretcher from debris and fabric. They load me onto it, and we start moving. East. Toward the broadcast station. Toward whatever truth we can salvage from this catastrophe. My leg throbs with every step. The bleeding hasn't stopped. 12 minutes left. Maybe less. But we move. Through the ruins. Through the infected who part for Tobias like he's Moses and they're the sea. Through the wasteland that used to be civilization. Above us, the stars are bright. Pollution cleared weeks ago when the factories stopped running, when the lights went out, when humanity started its long slide into extinction or evolution, depending on your perspective. Would you have done it differently? Tobias asks, matching pace with my stretcher. If you could go back, knowing what you know now, would you have let them die instead? I think about Marcus, about Yuki, about all 12 impossible recoveries who trusted me to save them. No, I admit, I'd do it again, even knowing where it leads. Then you understand, Tobias says. That's what makes you human. The inability to let go, to accept death, to stop trying even when trying makes things worse. His black eyes reflect the burning safe zone behind us. That's what makes all of us human, Captain. Network or not. The broadcast station rises from the ruins like a steel skeleton. 3 stories of reinforced concrete and satellite arrays, somehow untouched by the apocalypse. Emergency lights glow red in the windows. Someone's still maintaining power here, or something. We approach carefully. Okafor takes point, rifle raised. The networked variants spread out in a defensive perimeter. My stretcher bearers, Devin and 2 others, set me down behind cover while they scout ahead. My legs gone numb. That's not a good sign. I've got maybe 5 minutes before shock shuts down my organs. Maybe less. Clear, Okafor calls. But you need to see this. They carry me inside. The lobby is pristine. No blood, no bodies. Just rows of computer terminals humming with power, displays showing static from dead news channels, and people. 5 technicians sit at their stations, wearing military uniforms, monitoring equipment. They don't look up when we enter, don't acknowledge us at all. Just keep working, adjusting dials, typing commands, completely focused on their screens. Hello? Okafor approaches the nearest one, a young woman with corporal stripes. Hey, can you hear me? She types. Doesn't respond. Her eyes are glassy, fixed. Tobias moves to check her pulse. Stops. His expression shifts to something I can't read. She's networked, he says quietly. They all are. But not like us. This is older, different. Different how? I ask, even though I'm not sure I want the answer. He doesn't respond. Just moves through the station, examining each technician in turn. All 5 show the same symptoms. Working, focused, completely absent from their own bodies. The network isn't just for the infected we created, Tobias says finally. There's another layer, something deeper. These people aren't connected to us. They're connected to... He stops. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, imagine you discover you've been standing in shallow water your whole life. Then you realize there's an ocean beneath you, an ocean that goes down forever. A chill runs through me that has nothing to do with blood loss. Are they a threat? Okafor asks. No, they won't even notice us. They're too deep in the network, too far gone. Tobias moves to the broadcast controls. But we can use their equipment. Send the message Captain Ruiz wants to send. The technicians keep working. One adjusts a satellite array. Another types coordinates. A third monitors signal strength. Completely automated. Completely consumed. Naomi finds the broadcast microphone in an adjacent booth. It's still functional. Encrypted military channel, but we can override it. Patch into every safe zone frequency simultaneously. Everyone will hear. How long, I ask, the grays spreading from my peripheral vision. The numbness climbing past my waist. 3 minutes to establish connection. Then you've got as long as the signal holds. Could be 5 minutes, could be 30. Naomi works the controls with steady hands. The network gives her knowledge she shouldn't have. Technical skills downloaded from somewhere else. But Captain, you need medical attention, real attention. You've got minutes left. Then we work fast. I gesture to Okafor. Help me to the booth. He lifts me, carries me to a chair in front of the microphone. The equipment around me looks like something from a spy movie. Levels and frequencies and encryption keys scrolling across monitors. Tobias leans against the doorframe, watching. What are you going to tell them? The truth, like you said. All of it? The experiments? The weapons program? What you created? I meet his black eyes. All of it. Naomi's fingers fly over the keyboard. Signal ready? You're live in 30 seconds. I close my eyes. Try to organize my thoughts. There's so much to say and so little time. How do you summarize the end of the world in 5 minutes? 15 seconds. Okafor squeezes my shoulder. You've got this, Captain. 10 seconds. The room falls silent. Even the automated technicians seem to pause, though they don't look up from their screens. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live. I open my eyes, lean forward to the microphone, and speak. This is Captain Elena Ruiz, formerly of Safe Zone Delta 7. If you're hearing this, you're in one of the remaining safe zones. You've been told you're protected. You've been told the military has everything under control. You've been told the infected are mindless monsters that need to be destroyed. My voice cracks. I push through it. I'm here to tell you that everything you've been told is a lie. Around me, the networked ones listen. Okafor listens. Even the automated technicians seem to tilt their heads slightly, as if something deep in the network is suddenly paying attention. The safe zones aren't sanctuaries. They're collection points. The government has been running experiments on infected survivors, torturing them, vivisecting them, all in the name of developing biological weapons. I've seen the sublevel facilities. I've seen the cells. I've seen children strapped to tables, still conscious, still aware, being cut open while scientists take notes. I pause, take a shaking breath. But there's something else you need to know, something worse. The infection can be treated. I developed a protocol using experimental antivirals. It slows the transformation, allows consciousness to survive. I saved 12 people, 12 impossible recoveries. Tobias shifts. I can feel his attention focusing on me. But I didn't cure them. I changed them, made them into something new. They're connected now. All of them, linked through a network I don't understand. They're still human in many ways. They think, they feel, they remember who they were. But they're also something else. Something that might be evolution, or might be a different kind of death. The gray's spreading. My hands are cold. I've got maybe 2 minutes left. Tonight, Safe Zone Delta 7 was destroyed. The military triggered a self-destruct rather than let the infected escape. 200 refugees were given a choice: die in the explosion or accept the infection and join the network. 123 chose the network. 47 chose death. My voice breaks. I think of those 47, their names, their faces. I don't know if they made the right choice. I don't know if there is a right choice anymore. But I know this: you deserve to decide for yourselves, not have it decided by Colonel Vance or Dr. Sato or anyone else who thinks they know what's best for humanity's survival. The equipment around me starts beeping. Naomi checks the monitors. Signal's degrading. You've got 90 seconds. If you're in a safe zone right now, look for the sublevels. Look for the sealed corridors. Look for the places you're not allowed to go. You'll find what I found. You'll see what they've been doing. I look at Tobias. He nods slowly. And if you encounter the networked infected, the ones who still talk, still think, know that they're not necessarily your enemy. But they're not your saviors either. There's something in between. Something we created by trying to cheat death. Something that might be humanity's future or its replacement. The beeping intensifies. The signal's failing. My name is Captain Elena Ruiz. I'm dying from wounds sustained in the destruction of Delta 7. I have minutes left, maybe less. And I'm spending them telling you this because you deserve to know. You deserve to choose. You deserve... The world tilts. My vision tunnels. Captain! Okafor catches me as I slump forward. Finish it, I gasp. Tell them I'm sorry. Tell them I tried. Tell them... The gray becomes black. The cold becomes nothing. I hear Tobias's voice, distant and strange. She's gone. Then nothing at all. Darkness. Complete and absolute. No light, no sound, no sensation, just waiting. Then, a pulse, not a heartbeat. Something else, like a door opening in a room I didn't know existed. Captain Ruiz. The voice comes from everywhere and nowhere. Tobias's voice, Naomi's voice, Yuki's voice, Devin's. 100 others I don't recognize, all speaking as one. You're not gone. Not yet. You're in between, standing at the threshold. I try to speak. Can't. No mouth. No lungs. No body at all. We can bring you back. Pull you into the network. You'd be like us. Connected, aware, alive in a way you've never experienced. Or we can let you go. Let you drift into whatever comes after death. It's your choice. Images flood through me, not memories. Possibilities. I see myself rising from the broadcast station floor, black eyes opening, joining the collective consciousness that spans across the infected. I see the network expanding, consuming, transforming humanity into something that no longer dies alone. But I also see the cost, the loss, of self, the merging of individual consciousness into something larger. Tobias said they kept their humanity, but standing here in the dark, I can feel the truth. They're changing, slowly, imperceptibly, becoming less I and more we. Time is running out, Captain. Decide. I think of my daughter. She died 4 months ago, in a refugee center 2,000 miles from here. Fever, infection. They burned her body before I could say goodbye. If I joined the network, would I find her? Would some echo of her consciousness still exist in that vast collective, or would I just be running from grief into a different kind of death? Captain. No, I think into the darkness. Let me go. The voices fall silent for 1 moment, 2. Then, we understand. Thank you for what you created. Thank you for trying. We'll make sure your message reaches everyone. The darkness begins to fade, not into light, into nothing, into peace. My last thought is a question I'll never get answered. Did I save humanity or doom it?
This is Sergeant Okafor. Captain Ruiz is. Captain Ruiz didn't make it. A pause, the sound of breathing, ragged, unsteady. She died telling you the truth. About the safe zones, about the experiments, about what the government's been doing to survivors. I watched her bleed out on this floor because she thought you deserved to know, because she believed people should get to choose their own fate instead of having it chosen for them. Background noise, movement, someone Tobias speaking quietly off microphone. The networked infected are offering safe passage to anyone who wants to leave the safe zones. They're not attacking, not forcing anything, just offering an alternative. I don't know if that makes them saviors, or predators, or something in between, but I know the military's plan is extermination. Burn it all and sort out survivors later. More static, the signal fluctuating. So here's what I'm telling you. Check your safe zones, look for the sublevels, find out if your command structure is running the same experiments Delta 7 was running. And if they are, if you find those cells, those torture chambers, those test subjects, ask yourself who the real monsters are. A long silence, just breathing and the hum of equipment. Captain Ruiz saved 12 people, 12 impossible recoveries. She turned them into something new, something that might be humanity's next step or its extinction. I don't have the answers, but I know she tried. She tried when everyone else had given up. She tried when the smart move was to follow orders and keep her head down. The sound of papers shuffling. Okafor reading from something. She kept a journal. Last entry says, if I'm wrong about the antivirals, if I'm creating monsters instead of saving people, then I'm responsible for whatever comes next. But if there's even a chance, even the smallest possibility that some of them can be saved, then I have to try, because that's what being human means. Trying even when the outcome is uncertain. Choosing hope over certainty. Choosing to believe in redemption even when all evidence suggests it's impossible. Okafor's voice cracks. She believed in redemption, right up until the end. I think that's worth something. I think that's worth remembering. The equipment beeps, warning tones. Signals failing. This broadcast is going out to every safe zone, still operational. 17 facilities across North America, maybe 60,000 survivors total. You've all heard the same lies. Been given the same false hope. Captain Ruiz died trying to give you the truth instead. Background voices. Urgent. Tobias saying something about incoming. We're running out of time. The military's tracking this signal. They'll be here soon to shut it down. So, I'm going to make this simple. Trust nothing your commanders tell you. Verify everything. Look for the sublevels. Find the truth yourselves. And if you encounter the networked infected, the ones who still talk, still think, remember they were human once. Remember they were saved by someone who believed redemption was possible. The beeping intensifies. Alarms now. Multiple systems failing. This is Sergeant Okafor, broadcasting from the ruins of Los Angeles. Captain Elena Ruiz died at 0347 hours trying to warn you. Don't let her death be meaningless. Don't let them keep lying to you. Find the truth. Make your own choices. Survive on your own terms. A crash. Distant gunfire. Tobias shouting. We're out of time. Remember her name. Remember what she tried to do. And if you're listening from one of the safe zones, if you're hearing this and wondering what to do next, ask yourself one question. Would you rather die human and alone, or live connected to something larger than yourself? The signal cuts, returns, cuts again. That's the choice Captain Ruiz gave us. That's the choice I'm giving you. Decide for yourselves. Don't let anyone human or infected or government or God make that choice for you. One final burst of static. Okafor out. Good luck, survivors. You're going to need it.
3 weeks later, Safe Zone, Charlie 3 in Denver, reports a massive breach. The infected pour through the perimeter, but they're not attacking. They're distributing syringes, offering the choice. 48 hours after that, Safe Zone Echo 9 in Atlanta discovers a sublevel facility containing 200 test subjects. The commanding officer is executed by his own troops. 1 week later, Safe Zone Foxtrot 2 in Seattle broadcasts its own message, confirming everything Captain Ruiz said. Others follow. The truth spreads faster than the infection ever did. The government's official response is predictable. Deny everything. Blame rogue elements. Promise investigations that never come. But the survivors stop believing. Stop trusting. Stop accepting the lies. Some choose the infection. Some choose to stay human. Some choose to run to places where neither government nor network can find them. The world fragments into 1,000 different choices, 1,000 different paths forward, and somewhere in the network, in that vast collective consciousness that spans the infected, Captain Elena Ruiz's final thoughts echo through the connected minds, not words, just a feeling, hope, despite everything, despite the horror and the loss and the impossible choices. Hope that humanity, in whatever form it takes, might find a way to survive. The infected who carry her memory don't know if she was right, don't know if hope is enough. But they remember her trying, remember her believing, remember her dying for the chance that someone, somewhere, might make a better choice than she did. That's her legacy, not the antivirals, not the networked variants, not even the broadcast. Just the stubborn, foolish, beautiful human conviction that redemption is always possible, that trying matters, that choosing hope over certainty is the thing that separates us from the monsters, even when we're not entirely sure which side of that line we're standing on anymore. If you're still listening, survivor, you've heard Captain Ruiz's story. You've heard what happened at Delta 7. Now you know the truth about the safe zones. The question is, what will you do with that knowledge? Will you check for sublevels in your own facility? Will you question your commanders? Will you make your own choice about what comes next? Or will you keep your head down, follow orders, and hope someone else figures it out? Captain Ruiz chose to act. Sergeant Okafor chose to broadcast. The networked infected chose to offer alternatives instead of just consuming. What choice will you make? If you want to hear more survival stories from the collapse, more voices from the people who lived through humanity's darkest hour, then you know where to find us. We'll keep broadcasting. Keep telling the stories no one else wants to hear. Because someone needs to remember. Someone needs to bear witness. Someone needs to ask the hard questions about what we're becoming. Stay vigilant, survivors. Stay human. Whatever that means anymore. And remember, the infected aren't the only ones hunting in the dark.